is the 3 days of darkness something the church believes? And the short and very simple is no. Answer is no. It's not. It was never approved by the church, and there is no authentic source for it. You see it attributed to a number of holy persons, canonized or otherwise, but none of them have proven an authentic source. And the one where it's most often attributed to, and you'll see all over the internet a whole lengthy paragraph of this so-called prophecy, is Blessed Anna Maria Taegi. And she is a blessed from the 1800s, but I looked into that extensively some years ago, and this never came from her. It's quoted in quotes as if it's her verbatim, her exact words. You'll see it all over the internet, but you'll never see a source for it. And what it turned out to be is it was someone who said they heard it from someone who said they heard it from her. And I think it might have even been one more person in the line there. I can't remember. But it's not intellectually honest to put the whole paragraph in quote marks as if it was verbatim hers. Now, she was known for having prophecies, and it's a very common thing with false prophecies for whoever made them up to attribute them to a saint who was known for having a prophetic spirit, because that makes them more likely to be received. And so, but her prophecies, Pius IX discussed her prophecies in an address in the 1800s, and he said the church has made no judgment on them, and they are with the keeping of the Sacred Congregation of Rites for the process of her canonization. And so we don't actually know what her prophecies were, but we do know that this one has no authentic source going back to her. It is mere hearsay. And why you see it today, very often on the internet, is because of two books, I believe it's in both of them, that are very common. They became very popular in the 1970s, 80s after Vatican II. And that is the book, it's Catholic Prophecy, and then the other one, I think, Prophecy for Our Times. A lot of people think those are good collections of legitimate Catholic prophecies, and they may have some that are legitimate. But if you look in the bibliography for those books, they are full of known sources of false prophecies, and they reference books that are collections of false prophecies that have already been proven false because the time when they were supposed to be fulfilled is gone. For example, there was a supposed prophecy attributed to St. John Vianney saying that the world will end, he supposedly said, before the church has a chance to canonize me. Well, obviously that it didn't happen. So the book where this is taken from is a French book. That's what those two books in English I mentioned. They take it from a French book, which I'm going to butcher the French if I try to pronounce it, but it's Prophetic Voice is what the title translates to, and it was a known source of false prophecies from the 1800s, many of which have been proven false, including the 3 days of darkness, because here's the thing. I'll read you what the French book said. I'll read it to you here. I've got an English translation. This is what the actual prophecy supposedly said. First of all, she supposedly said Pius IX's reign would last only 27 years. Well, that was false because it was actually 32 years. So already false. And she supposedly prophesied that he would live to see the triumph of the church in spite of the calamities. And so this is the prophecy. All the enemies of the church, hidden or open, will perish during the days of darkness, with the exception of some few whom God will convert immediately afterwards. The air will then be infected by the demons, who will appear under all kinds of hideous shapes. The possession of a blessed candle will secure its owner from death. So also will the saying of prayers addressed to our Blessed Lady and the holy angels. So far, that's where you get the prophecy supposedly attributed to her. But here's the part that those two English books deliberately left out, and this is very dishonest of the authors of those books. That's why you should not rely on those books. After the 3 days of darkness, Saints Peter and Paul, having come down from heaven, will preach throughout the world and will designate the new Pope, Lumen in Cielo, who is to succeed Pius IX. A great light will flash from their bodies and will settle upon the cardinal, the future pontiff. Saint Michael, the archangel, appearing then upon earth in human form, will hold the devil enchained until the period of the preaching of Antichrist. In these days religion shall extend its empire throughout the world. There shall be one shepherd. The Russians will be converted, as well as England and China, and all the faithful filled with joy in beholding this overwhelming triumph of the church. After the days of darkness, the holy house of Loretto will be carried by angels to Rome and will be deposited in the Basilica of St. Mary Major. So all of that was supposed to happen the 3 days during the reign of Pius IX. And then the next pope after him, there was supposed to be this wonderful conversion of the whole world. That would have been Leo XIII. The reference to Lumen in Cielo, incidentally, is actually taken from another false prophecy, the so-called St. Malachi prophecy, which was really written centuries after it is after St. Malachi. But so here's the thing is that you can see that 3 days was already proven false when it didn't happen under Pius IX and Leo XIII. And sadly, it's been dug up again after Vatican II, but they left out the part that proves that it was false. And that's not, unfortunately, what happens, it's done repeatedly through history. Whenever there's a time of great turmoil in the church, Catholics make the mistake of they want to know answers. They want to know what's going to happen. They no longer rest satisfied with the faith. They start looking into prophecies to satisfy their curiosity about things that God does not want us to know. And so always these false prophecies, they crop up in large numbers. It happened during the Protestant revolt. It happened in the 1800s. Pius IX said there's an awful lot of prophecies going around these days. This is around the time of Vatican I. And he said most of them don't deserve the honor of being read. And he said, and this is very important, Pius IX said, prophecy for us is to do the will of God. And so remember that true prophecy, true private revelation is never for the purpose of satisfying curiosity about future things. It is only to reiterate what we know by faith. And the idea that we would need some special knowledge that we can only gain by prophecy, such as this blessed candle, the idea that we are going to need additional knowledge that is not part of our faith in order to be saved someday is not Catholic.